Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Monty, one half of Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. We're produced out of Indie Music TV in New York. That's Ron Conkema, New York. Yes, again, that's Indie Music TV. You could also catch us on RTF Sports Network. That's RTF Sports Network, the #1 growing streaming sports network on the air today. Catch us every Thursday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yes, we're their anchor show. And catch our rerun on a morning drive time from 10 to 11 a.m. You could also catch us on the Monty and the Pharaoh YouTube page, the Facebook Live Monty and the Pharaoh page, Twitch TV Monty and the Pharaoh page, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, or any streaming network. We're on it. You can find us anywhere. Also catch us on New York Cable, Channel 115, every Tuesday from 8:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Also catch us Saturday mornings on Channel 115 from 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. And catch us Saturday morning at 1:30 a.m. on Channel 20. Soon we'll be coming to Amazon, so catch us there also. We want to thank everybody for the support. And again, please catch us every Thursday, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., Monty the Pharaoh, Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, new, old, endangered, and let's have a little fun. Talk to you soon.
Hey, listen, Daddy, you're listening to the #1 broadcast, Monty and Pharaoh, Daddy, in Long Island. The best pro wrestling broadcast of all time, I think.
Hey, everybody, this is Action Smash Demolition, and you're listening to the Monty and Pharaoh Show.
The #1 wrestling show on Long Island. Unbelievable show. Watch it. Listen. Make sure and listen.
This here's the legendary Warlord, and I'm at Long Island's the best radio there is, the Monty and Pharaoh Show. I like it, you like it, and we'll all like it.
All right, welcome to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast out of Indie Music TV here on Ronkonkoma, Long Island. At the board is our super producer, Matty Ice. Matty, how are you?
I'm doing amazing. Wait, hold on. Matty Ice?
That's his new
I noticed
nickname.
this on the last show.
I told you
Matt,
that.
when did this come into play here? When did you become Matty Ice?
I don't know.
You like it better than just plain old Matt, right?
I've got so
I
many
could-
things in my back.
Or I could just call you Matty Late.
Oh, what you?
Matty Late to the show.
That's called a shoot, by the way. Matt, respond accordingly. Go ahead. Go get him.
I think Matty Ice is appropriate.
No, we'll go with Matty Ice.
Love Matty Ice.
To the right is this.
Name, bro.
To the right of the show is the star of the show, Mr. Jimmy Farrow. Jimmy, how are you?
It's morning. How do you think I am?
Well,
The coffin lid
I was
opened.
I was
crawled out.
shocked you were up this late.
Good morning. Ugh.
Listen, on Thursday, not knowing this on the show, we didn't realize that Tom Lister, known to wrestling fans as Zeus, passed away.
Yep.
Seems that he passed away from coronavirus, according to reports. What are your thoughts on that, Jimmy?
It was a shock, of course. I think he was, 62?
62.
I'm saying it's way too young. The corona situation is obviously real. To what degree remains debatable, of course, but this is obviously very real. Can I say something wrestling-wise about Zeus? And
sure.
I was discussing it with you the other night after we heard about it. You could say what you want about the entertainment aspects of pro wrestling. You can be a wrestling nerd and love the Bret Harts, and I respect these things. But for those people who think that Zeus was not too much, I will tell you this much. Zeus scared the crap out of me. And I know I'm not the only one in this. Zeus's character was pretty damn intimidating, and he made a great main event guy for Hulk Hogan back then. And it's a loss. I almost wish now, everything's 2020 right now, hindsight, but I really wish we had him in. I heard he was a good interview. So rest in peace to the great Zeus. Well, that's my take, man.
I second that thought. Also, I'd like to thank our band that sings the theme song for Monty and the Pharaoh.
Who's that?
Jimmy Farrow, obviously, with his partner Bart Griggs.
Thank you.
They make the band Wisteria Hall. Yeah. Wisteria Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life, Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain. Catch our music on Spotify, iTunes, and Refurb Nation.
Okay.
Monty and the Pharaoh, that's the show you're watching right now, can be seen on YouTube, the Monty and the Pharaoh page, Facebook Live, the Monty and the Pharaoh page, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Twitch TV, Monty and the Pharaoh page. Every Tuesday on Channel 115 from 7 to 7:30 p.m., and then every Saturday on Channel 115 from 6 a.m. to 6:30, and then catch us on Friday mornings at 2 a.m. to 2:30 on Channel 20.
Pharaoh time.
We'll be back with our very special guest. We are so excited. A guy that used to scare the shit out of me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Zeus-ish.
Yeah.
Mr. Mike Knox. You need a body shop? You need engine repair? Auto Excellence. Collision Specialists. 631-261-6420. That's 631-261-6420. 6420. Auto Excellence.
That's right, folks. Canine Corral for all your dog daycare and overnight care. Call 631-549-1544. That's 631-549-1544. And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty Nefaro, only seen here out of Indie Music TV on Long Island, New York. Before we get to our special guest, Mike Knox, I want to say Mike was brought in by J&R Collectibles, and we'll bring him on later. That's Joe Rossello. Joe and I, and then you, eventually have a long history together, right? We actually started in this whole thing with Joe.
You could say that, Rabbit. You could say that.
And Joe has always been a good friend, and I can't wait to have him on and just talk a little biz there. Well, Mr. Knox, welcome aboard to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty and the Pharaoh.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I apologize in advance for scaring you when you were younger.
You scared my wife.
Well, shit.
Not when I was younger. I'm actually older than you. You scared me while I was older.
Even better.
That's
Look at
impressive.
You know what it is, bro. You just ain't never been hugged by me.
Well, that's what it is.
I got a lot of love. I got a lot of love to give, brother. I'm very famous for my hugs now.
I gotta say, right, and just looking at your history and stuff, boy, you were a good-looking guy when you were younger. In a manly way, I'm saying
what's
that.
going on?
What happened, right?
Well, no, you're a good-looking guy now, but I mean, you were like model-esque.
Is this going to turn into more than hugs? I'm not ready for that.
Dude, I'm telling you, the pictures of him, I'm like, what is this guy, a model?
I told you, I had to work hard to get big. When I graduated high school, I was like 190 pounds. So I had to gas a little bit. I had to freaking work out hard, and it's like.
So what kind of gas? Like, so when I was back in the day when I was your age, it was Deca, pills. I was in Germany, right? So it was Deca, the horse injections, all the bad shit.
Horse injections?
Yeah, sped. Not that I took that shit, by the way.
You're gonna love this. I didn't know dick about dick for that stuff. You know what I mean? Like I thought if I get really good, it doesn't matter what my body looks like. WWE's gonna see it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or whatever. But that's young and dumb moron. 28. Not 28. 18 when I started. So I didn't know nothing. So I'm trying to work out. I'm not getting no bigger. I'm just like this and that. And I was like, well, shit. I lived like 3 or 4 miles from the Mexican border, like a big old town, Mexicali. Yeah, I used to live in El Centro, California. Mexicali, you know what I mean? I was like, I could walk across the border. They got pharmacies down there, but it's like, I don't know what I'm doing. So my mom hears me talking like this, and she's just like, well, are you going to do it, or what are you going to do? If you have to do it, do it. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. And I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I went out and worked or something, and I came back, and my mom had 2 bottles of like tests with like a bull or something or a bulldog on it. And I was like, what the hell is this? And
Did she go across the border?
Yeah. She's like, I went down to Mexico.
Wow, Mom's
She's
cool.
like, I walked into a gym. I went to the biggest guy in there, and I asked him where he gets his shit from.
What is going on here?
Yeah, so she came home with that stuff. You know what I mean? And I was such a pussy. You know what I mean? Like, I was scared of needles too.
Hell yeah, right.
Do that. So I was like, I ended up getting on like a little bit of stuff, like whatever the little orals were or whatever. Like one of my buddies that was a worker who'd made it. I'm not going to say his name or nothing, but he'd kind of hooked me up to those things. And I'll be honest, without him, I'd have never got even anywhere close, man. I was 190 pounds and I couldn't put weight on for shit.
Well, let me ask you, what are your thoughts on human growth hormones and steroids? Do you think they get a bad rap? I mean, I
think they get a horrible rap, man.
Yeah.
Anything that can be given to you by doctors and be beneficial to the recovery time. I mean, come on, man. We're sitting there kicking the shit out of each other. Mm-hmm. We're in car crashes every night, and it's like they expect us not to be able to. We're trying to train every day on top of all that, and eat right, and travel, and you're sleep deprived too. If this stuff can maybe be monitored, given by the doctor, whatever. You don't want like dipshits like me. You know what I mean? Like 18 years old, don't know what the hell you're doing, just putting whatever in there. If you have people that can guide you the right way, it can be very beneficial, very healthy. And then maybe instead of using stuff the wrong way and all the boys dying, you know what I mean? Like when they're 50, then maybe it would extend that part of the business as well.
Does roids have any psychological side effects of any kind?
No,
obviously I've never taken them.
I can only speak for me.
Okay.
Like I said, I stopped doing them years and years and years ago.
Okay.
You know, once I got signed, you know what I mean, and it was kind of made clear that that's the way that they were going. I was the first one on board because I really didn't want to do them in the first place.
Right.
You know, I was always thought, you know.
Now you mentioned that you were 190 pounds before you know resorted to taking these things. How do you feel nowadays when you see 190-pound guys holding world heavyweight titles?
Well, you know,
damn it! I didn't have to take them at all.
You know,
you might have been right that your gimmick would have gotten over without them.
I was right at the end of the big guy. I was right at the end of the big guy stuff.
True.
You know what I mean? And like when after the Benoit stuff happened, and like everybody started getting in trouble, then they're like, "Hey, knock it the fuck off."
So now
you know what I mean? Like
you brought up Benoit. Did you know Benoit at all?
Yeah,
So
we were in ECW together.
Can you elaborate as a person that you knew? Obviously, you don't know what happened behind the scenes, but what kind of person was he with you?
Bro, we had dinner. He was a pleasant man. He was very intense. He cared a lot about the integrity of the business.
Mm-hmm.
He was rough on people if he didn't think that they were. If he thought that they were, I don't want to say jokes because some of them are my friends and they've lasted a very long time in the business. You know what I mean? But if he didn't think that you had what it took, you know, he would push you a little bit. You know what I mean? Like he was a very intense individual, but he would also be the first one to put his arms around you. And, you know, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. You know, we're not going to be around forever. We need somebody to be tough up here. Like, if we let the nerds take over, then what is all this for? You know what I mean? Whatever. It's like, we kind of want to give you this thing, you know what I mean? So anyways, he was super nice to me all the time. He would come into Deep South classes on Saturdays with his kids, like to help the kids out, like to help the young workers out at Deep South. Like, like I said, I don't know what happened, and I can't even speculate.
Well, needless to say, you then were in shock when this whole
God.
thing went down, right?
We were sitting at I think we were sitting at a pay-per-view or a TV taping or something, and he just didn't show up, and it was like,
did you
not
feel
with him? You know, he's the first one in, last one out. Like I said, he's all about respect in the business too. So it's like,
after the shock wore off, did you feel any anger towards him for what had happened?
I was in denial for years.
Okay.
I thought something else happened. Like I was blaming people I didn't know.
You were blaming? Were you blaming like? Were you one of these guys?
You weren't doing the Kevin Sullivan.
You weren't doing the Kevin Sullivan thing.
Yeah,
like, it was
bro,
Kevin Sullivan.
There, like, and I'd never even met Kevin Sullivan. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't know how freaking nice he is.
Yeah, right.
You just didn't want to believe
the
that.
Guy in the world. You're like murderer. Like just because you see this character that he played, it's like. Yeah, bro, I was in denial for years, man, because the guy that I met, the guy that was coming into the schools to try to help us and with his kids there, you know what I mean? He was so nice and he loved them so much. Like, I don't know what happened.
So then you were part of those two infamous meetings, and I'm assuming when they announced to all you guys that Chris has passed away and we're going to do a tribute, and then the secondary meeting where, like, hey.
A race.
Yeah, so can you talk about that at all?
Yeah, they did this real nice thing for him. And then it started coming out what was going on, and then another meeting. They're like, "Listen, no comment. Don't please, guys, don't talk nothing."
Who did the speaking, Vince?
I think it was. I want to say it was Johnny Ace.
Johnny Ace.
He did most of them.
Through Vince.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he did most of them. You know, it's just, brother. I can't imagine what it could have been. And now I'm petrified. You know, because at CTE they started looking at his brain. You know what I mean? And granted. Nobody went as hard as him. You know what I mean? Like maybe Dynamite. You know what I mean? But like nobody went as hard as him, and he took a lot of shots to the head. And you know, I mean, I was pretty lucky. I was a big dude, but I mean, shit, brother, I still had 13 concussions. You know what I mean? That I know of. Probably numerous other ones that I don't.
Right.
I find myself forgetting shit all the time. You know what I mean? Like, of course, drink a lot and smoke a little bit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, laugh a lot, and you know, obviously you're getting older and you forget shit. You know what I mean?
I still think the headshots will do worse damage than the smoking a little bit, but that's me.
So I get a little nervous. You know, I try to keep my eyes on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can only assume that had a major part to do with it. I don't know.
Well, interesting enough, we had Demolition in here, and you know those older guys were part of that lawsuit. But Demolition said one of the smarter things. They said they did the lawsuit to protect guys like you to stop the headshots.
There's so many ways you can protect yourself, man. You don't have... I mean, I blew my elbows out more times putting my arms up for those things, you know, because I took 2 or 3 in the head.
Yeah.
But then they revive ECW. You get in there with Balls Mahoney, God rest his soul, and you're swinging that fucking thing 1,000 miles an hour. You know what I mean? You learn pretty damn fast to put your hands up. It ain't about being tough no more. It's about saving your
I'm amazed
damn life.
I'm amazed Mick Foley can form sentences.
It's crazy, man.
That's one guy I'm surprised.
I'm amazed.
Brilliant! What a brilliant! My old lady loves him. My old lady loves him.
He's a sharp tack in the draw for
yeah.
sure. He still has his wits about him, amazingly so.
So we get into it with these wrestling experts all the time because we're certainly not wrestling experts. But one of the main things is that wrestlers like yourself, their belief is that you should have lifetime pensions, lifetime medical for what you've done for the business. Can you weigh in on that? What are your thoughts about that? Does Vince McMahon owe you lifetime medical?
Man, this is something I learned day one. Wrestling don't owe you shit. Wrestling don't owe you nothing, man.
Bingo.
If you're breaking into this business, this is just how I was taught. I was taught old school, you know. If you're breaking in this business to be rich, you better learn how to play the guitar, baby. You know what I mean? Like if you're breaking into this business to be famous,
Oh boy.
well,
Yeah.
guess what? Even when you get famous, you're still only just a certain kind of famous. You know what I mean?
Right.
Learn how to play the guitar, bro. Like, you know, like it would be sweet. You know what I mean? It would be nice to have a little something because there's lingering effects, of course.
Sure.
That I mean, I still deal with, and like I said, after I was at WWE, I took 2 or 3 years off and didn't do nothing. I took cruises and sat by the pool and got drunk. You know what I mean? Like, made good friends around Tampa and just said, like, I was getting that video game money coming in.
Ooh.
You know, I was like, I've
that
been
video
fired.
game money, boy.
Bro, you want to hear what chalking one up for the good guys? I got my first video game check, and it was like 78 grand or something. Cool.
78 grand!
Something cool
78
bro.
grand!
Yeah, so I'm just sitting there, I'm just like,
I bet you weren't asking for Vince
bro, my
McMahon
contract wasn't even that.
Yeah.
My contract
That's
wasn't even
insane.
that. No, I'm just sitting there, I was like, holy shit.
You have a
I was
figure
like,
also?
This is what these motherfuckers get? And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, Mike, need you to lose to Goldust and Funaki and this guy, and you're fired. Ha-ha. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, shit, okay. So
I want to make it to the next video game.
I was sitting there, I was just like, whatever, man. I was
Wow.
like, I was out of there. I was so, like, at this point, I'm all fat and out of shape. I was over it, bro. You know what I mean? I'd given up completely. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to take this 78 grand. I'm going to cash my check. I'm going to put this shit in my safe. And I'm going to just sit on it.
Yeah.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? I was like, I'll get 3 months. I'll start working some shit. Like,
Yeah.
nice. So, of course, I don't go work any other shit. I turned down incredible offers. Like, freaking Vader was emailing me. I was just going through my emails trying to clean it out. Like, it was a 15-year-old email. Vader saying that he wants me to come up to, like, New Japan or whatever one he was working with, All Japan.
Uh-huh.
And it was freaking, like, some incredible amount, like $2,500 a week or some shit, like,
Wow.
which is unheard of. And I was like, nope. I'm over it.
Unreal.
Over it. You know what I mean? And it was like I was just starting to date this blonde that stole my heart. We're getting married now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just sitting there. I was like,
This-
well, shit, man. She's all about it. You know what I mean? I was like, she'll travel. She, you know, her mom works for the airline, so she travels for free. So it couldn't have worked any other way because I was fucking a wild man. You know what I mean? If she wasn't around, who the hell knows what would have happened? And shit, I been off on a tangent there, bro. Where were we at?
Now you're talking about how you just got over wrestling, you're done,
yeah, bro,
you're going to
yeah.
just hang
Yeah,
out,
bro, I
party,
was
got a
over
hot
it.
babe with you,
Yeah,
all
I was
good?
over it, bro. I was just like, I just want to take a couple months.
This is in between post
Right
Vince,
after I got,
TNA?
right after I got fired. Right after
In
I got fired.
between, right, okay. I got
And I'm just sitting there. So like, a year goes on, and I'm just like taking cruises, just taking my money out of the safe. I was like,
What are we down to $8 grand to the
Yeah,
78?
now all of a sudden the tax man.
Oh,
Now all of a sudden the
now
tax
you got
man's
nothing
like,
left. Good job,
the tax man
Knoxy.
comes and he's like,
Nobody's
hey,
home. What,
I don't know if
Kelly
you-
answered the door?
I don't know if you know this or not, but you forgot to pay your taxes for the past 7 years.
Oh,
Oh, I did. Sorry. Like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Wait a minute. How do you forget to pay your taxes, though? How does that happen?
he was taking guitar lessons.
I
Or did you not forget? You're just like,
I would have paid my taxes, but I didn't have any money.
Oh,
You know,
man,
by the time
oh,
the taxes
man.
came around, brother, like I said, man, I wasn't making great money at WWE.
Man.
Everybody has all these cool stories, you know what I mean? Like, shit, mine was a little less than that. I still had a blast, though, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I said I didn't want to be rich and famous. I wanted the stories. I wanted to party. I wanted to live that.
Well, you got them.
And I did. Be careful what you fucking wish for. I wish I'd have wished for a little bit of money at least.
Can we?
Shit,
Or a
man.
second video game.
Yeah.
Can we
shit.
go?
I spent a year kicking around just taking money out the thing. And wouldn't you know it, a year later, I get another check. Somebody fucked up. And they put me on the next year's video game.
Nice.
That I wasn't even there for.
Awesome.
So I ended up making, that one wasn't as much. It was like maybe like 58 grand or something like that.
Wow.
So of course I opened that shit up and I'm like, I'm never working again.
Back to the pool with the spliff.
Stimulus checks.
Sitting at the
They're
pool.
just gonna keep sending me all this money. It's gonna be great.
I want to go back to Mom. Is she still with us?
Yeah.
Talk about your mom a little bit. Yeah, I'm so interested how she helped you, but what was Mom like?
You want to talk about support, bro?
She went across the border.
She went across the border. Like I ran 3 of her cars in the dirt. She took care of, like, she helped me get shit. She helped me along the way. She was 100% supportive. You know, both my parents were. You know, my mom was the dream pusher. Go, 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 go. You know what I mean? And my dad, you know, he'd been busting his ass, working since he was 14 on his own. Like, he's like, hey, listen, I love your dream. You're good at it. He's like, but you got to work. Work, work, work. It ain't just going to fall in your lap. You got to work. You got to work. You got to work, work. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't just going to give you that shit.
Yeah.
And, yeah, man, my mom, dude, Jesus Christ. I love her so much. She's the funniest. She, you know, she came and saw a few of my matches when I got a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Not when I was in WWE or nothing, just doing like little indie stuff, but I was starting to get bigger and like a little more gas stuff. My body started coming around, and now I wasn't embarrassed, so I was wearing tights a little bit.
There you go.
Doing the big Undertaker dive over the top. She came and saw a couple times me doing that, and like I get busted open, and she's just like, "Okay, I love you. I can't watch no more."
It was
You know
hard
what
for
I mean?
her.
Like, yeah, she's like, "I can't. I know what you're doing."
Interesting.
You know, and then it's like now, I tell her, I'm like, "Hey, Mom, you know, my knees are feeling pretty good." I was like, dropping a little bit of weight, getting a little healthier. Freaking Luke Gallows keeps trying to get me to come back and try it again. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then she's like, is it worth it? Remember how they treated you. You know what I mean? Remember how unhappy you were they're here. Remember how much they didn't pay there. And I know your head hurts, and I know your knees are screwed up, and I know your back hurts. She's like, she's like, if you want, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to look back in 10 years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
I was
have
like,
those second guesses.
and of
right.
course, you know, I think humor solves everything. So I was like, shit, Mom, I can sell houses in a wheelchair. You know what I mean? Like,
That's a good point.
it's fine, Mom. Yeah, that's just what everybody wants to hear. So, yeah, bro, she's number one, man.
What
She's the
made-
best. I couldn't ask for a better mom.
You're very lucky. I
Yeah.
just speaking personally, you're very lucky to have such great parents and supportive of your dreams. And on your dreams, what made you want to become a wrestler in the first place? Were you watching it as a kid? You have a hero?
Second grade, bro.
Since
Dark
second-
and stormy Saturday night.
Okay.
Well, listen to this story.
Never
Nice.
seen professional wrestling before. I had no idea what it was. We only had 2 or 3 channels at this time.
Okay.
The old punk.
Oh, absolutely.
Do
You know,
we
the
ever?
UHF, brother.
500-pound little TV.
Do
Absolutely.
we ever? Yep, we know.
And all of a sudden, this bright light flashes on, and my face kind of lights up, and you see this tan man flexing around. And he's doing
Up.
this. I was like, oh, what is that? And all of a sudden, Sergeant Slaughter's going down this zip line in Florida. Like, it's like this whole, like, it was Saturday night's main event. And
Yeah.
the main event was first match I ever saw. Hulk Hogan, beautiful, fucking gorgeous locks of hair and beautiful muscles, against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Hogan was triumphant that night with the leg drop right in the middle of the ring. And the next day in second grade, I got in my first fist fight. And I beat the shit out of this kid because
Did you point at him?
beat the shit out of this fucking kid. We were arguing about what the move was called that Hulk Hogan used, and he said it was a body slam, and I said it was a leg drop, and I was right and he was wrong, so I punched him in the face.
There you go.
Like a good little boy.
That's it.
Oh, there you go. Did the principal explain to you that school is not scripted?
I told them that we were just playing wrestling. And I never stopped, ever.
And I bet that kid was scared of Mike Knox for the rest of his life too.
Man. Yeah, that was.
So not only were you a bully in professional wrestling, you were a bully in real life. Congratulations,
bro! I was a nerd.
He's
I
only
got
in
my comeuppance after I beat the kid up. I got hit in the head with a bat, and
What?
I lost.
It's second grade.
I know. I was playing. I was a really good baseball player.
Okay.
So I'm catching this stupid kid swings and hits me right in the temple, and I lose all the sight. So I now have to wear these big fucking glasses.
Oh, so karma got you.
And my
not a-
mom, God bless her heart, the sweetest woman in the world, but she don't have the best style either. So she was a real big fan of Billy Ray Cyrus. So I also had the fucking mullet with with the zippers there. You know what I mean? And the big stupid glasses, circa 1987. Real nice nerd bubble style
Goggles
glasses.
Paisano.
You
Way to
know?
go. This is
Jesus,
bad.
man.
Oh my God.
Wearing tie-dye to school. What a nerd, bro. Went home crying.
What you went from watching it on television, and then all of a sudden, life goes quickly. Boom! 2 blinks later, it's on. You went through a lot of hell to get there, but you get the call from WWE. What was it like when you got the phone call to go to WWE?
It was such a work, bro. It was such a work.
Okay.
I mean, I've been sneaking backstage at WWE and getting like darks and getting my looks and doing all that crap. You know what I mean? And like Johnny Ace always pulls me aside. He's like, "You're on the list." You know what I mean?
You're on
like
the list.
Godfather. You know what I mean? You're on the list. Like,
Okay.
You know, we're opening this new thing. I don't know why I'm doing the Godfather, but you know, we're opening this new school. It's in Atlanta. We're gonna get the best guys. You're on the list. Starting fresh. Oh, awesome, man. I was on that list for 2 freaking years before anything happened. You know what I mean? So this whole time, I'm telling all these girls at the strip club, I'm on the list. I'm about to get signed up. Like, just trying to get a little. Trying to get
did it work?
Man, brother.
Did it work?
Gassed up, blonde hair. You know what I
Success
mean?
ratio. What are we talking here? 2 out of 3 ain't bad, or nice
Oh,
job.
See,
Nice job.
back then I looked pretty good. I was gassed up. I had
You
it
were
all
the model. You had
yeah,
that
I had it
model
all going
look.
for me,
Yeah.
bro. I could talk a little bit, and
You got him going wild. Yeah.
I'm pretty genuine. You know what I mean? I'm a genuine guy. So it's
There you go.
you don't feel like I'm taking advantage of it.
There you go.
You know, except for like I said, except for my old lady, take advantage of her all the time.
So more importantly, they call you up, and then you find out you get to work with.
I get all.
Yeah, but this is really important. You get to work with Kelly, dude. Like, how do you handle that? Like spending your time with that girl all the time.
Bro, once I got pulled up there, it was business time.
Really?
Yep, it was business time because I just worked for 10 or 11 years or however many to go through the Indies
get
and
here.
go. You know, I fought and got to Japan, fought and got to Mexico, fought and went over to Europe and learned all this different shit.
Right.
Fought and got to Deep South, kicked ass down there, fought and got out of there. Now I'm up. Now I got my. Now it's time to make my dream.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to talk from Paul Heyman. You're my guy, man. You know what I mean? He's like, I want you to get in here and start kicking some ass. He's like, I'm going to get you and Punk up. We want you guys working up to the top. You know?
Wow.
Which he had told Punk that, because Punk is, he gets a little bit more fired up. You know what I mean? Like, he gets more motivated. So, Paul E told Punk that I was going to be the champ, and he told me that Punk was going to be the champ.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I was
Gotcha.
just like, it's business, bro. If he makes more money, he makes more money.
Right.
And then I got in there, and they're like, I had the blonde hair, I had a really cool character that I had it perfected. I could just drop it on a dime, man, and kick ass with it. If we had NXT back then,
Right.
I think it could have really, really gotten over, you know, and it would have kept me more motivated too, because I'd had a little say in it. So I show up to TV, ready to freaking take over the world with Kelly. They're like, hey, we kind of want you to do this Randy and Liz thing. Like,
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
I was like, okay, well, we can do that. And they're like, well, she's going to be an exhibitionist, and she's going to go out there and start dancing, cover up, you know. But she didn't know how to dance. You know what I mean? She wasn't a dancer. So they just kind of threw this poor girl out there. And I'm like, okay, well, if she falls, I fall. You know what I mean? If she goes down, I'm going down too. Like, we're together. We're like it or not, we're married. I didn't want to be saddled with a lady when I came in. I know what that is. That's death, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I go in, they're like, okay, we're going to start you. And then, like, Vince comes up, and he's like, I didn't see Kelly's boyfriend looking like this. And then so they're like, okay, well, what do we do? He's like, we got to cut his hair off. We got to dye it. We got to cut this and do that. And, like, change his gear. And I'm just like, oh, shit, man. You know what I mean? So, like, this whole character that I had in this whole, like, years I've had to having this character.
Gone.
Toilet.
Remade in a second.
Toilet. boom. Oh, I didn't see Kelly's boyfriend looking like this. Toilet.
This is all Vince, obviously.
Yeah.
And this is
Vince.
This might have been 15 of the only 100 words he ever said to me.
Sounds
Well, I was
like-
going to say,
sounds like Vince.
So are you like shit a brick? Like, oh my God, this is
I'm
Vince
like,
McMahon.
Shit, they're going to send me back.
Right.
I was like, what the hell? And he's like, well, cut his hair and dye it this and that. And like, well, what haircut you want to give? He's like, give him my haircut. You know what I mean? So I was like,
Jesus, Vince, put a little thought into it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, bro.
Looks
so,
great.
So I get the call. I was like, I can work with this.
Sure.
My work is going to speak for itself. My first freaking program, Sandman. I love Sandman.
Yeah, we love Sandman.
Let's not get it twisted. I love that man.
Yeah, he's
you know
cool.
what I mean?
He's cool.
But he swings that stick a little dangerous,
Oh boy.
and
Hey.
he's not the most technical
Okay.
of he's kind of a gimmick, but that's by design, of course. You
He's
know
not
what I mean?
Bret Hart. I
It's
got you.
his jam. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's where he makes his money. So they're putting me in there with Sandman every night for like the first 5 months. I lose every night, smash in the face every night with a stick numerous times.
Great.
They put us out there and they give us like 15 minutes, which if you want to get a good match, you might need to condense that down a little bit to 6 or 7 because you don't want the badass cane swinging, beer chugging, wild man in a 6-minute heat. You know what I mean? So
Right.
just sitting there getting his ass kicked,
Right.
And his technical stuff isn't built on a fiery comeback. It's
Right.
built on shock and awe kind of shit. You know what I mean? So anyways,
Sure.
they put us in these matches that are way too long. You know what I mean? And they're trying to get them over, and they're getting them over a little bit and getting them over, but the whole time, ECW ain't really picking up like it's supposed to be picking up.
Correct.
And they're pushing. They got to push the original guys because they want to get the New York market to start tuning in a little bit.
Correct.
Of course, they didn't do any favors. First freaking show, making a joke of it. You know what I mean? With the
The
mummy or the
zombie?
alien or whatever it was. Yeah.
Happy
They didn't do
Halloween.
no favors.
Yeah.
And like later
Yeah.
on, of course, I found out some other shit too. That kind of made me think a few times if they ever really wanted it to succeed in the first place.
Right. Well, as we all know, historically, in the end, it wasn't truly Paulie's ECW. It was Vince's idea of
Yeah.
ECW, and that's what I think killed.
Yeah, and I thought it turned out, just as being a fan of ECW, I took it as a slap in the face.
I never
You know
wanted
what
to
I
see.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
and
I
was-
never
and
wanted to
was a
see
part
Big
of it.
Show with the belt. That's
And I
not
was a part of it.
ECW.
And that's not taking away nothing from the boys that were working it.
No.
We were trying our damnedest. We were doing
course.
the best that we could
Of course.
with what we were allowed to do. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
you don't understand the freaking handcuffs they put on you up there. Especially when it's a new show, you're a new talent. They don't know you on TV. You know what I mean? Like, the fans don't know you, nor give a shit about you. Half of them ain't watching that ECW. You know what I mean? And like,
Yeah, but dude, you were over. I remember when you came in, you were over, and the big mistake not pushing you with her because that really could have went somewhere. Sometimes I'm very confused on the approaches that happen. It's like if you're going to build something under a savage Macho Man gimmick, which I thought to me as a fan resonated like that.
When you covered her up,
Yeah.
Kelly, you irritated the shit out of me, and that's what you were supposed to be doing.
Let me
so
ask
I
you
don't.
this.
I mean, they got that right. You were. It was like, stop covering up Kelly. What is this guy doing?
only in the fucking wrestling world would a young man like me,
Right.
who is covering up an innocent, underage
Oh, great.
woman, saving her from herself in public. She could have been arrested for public indecency and nudity. She
Right.
may be in prison now, hooked on the rock. We don't know.
That's right.
I was saving her life, and now I'm the bad guy.
Right.
You know?
Dude,
Go figure, wrestling fans.
I
Thanks
bought
a
it.
lot.
I was like reaching into the set to
All right.
choke you.
With that, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to get back to pro wrestler superstar Mike Knox. What a great interview. Be back in a second. Jimmy, I got to take a dump.
What?
No. I mean, I need a dumpster.
Well, for all those needs, you need to call Big V Dumpster Rental, Long Island, New York, 631-900-DUMP. The Monty and the Pharaoh Show is brought to you by...
Because wine is your second favorite four-letter word. California wine, New York attitude. Good fucking wine.
Yeah. Jeff Quest, graphics design, custom vinyl lettering, and all your art and video needs. 516-317-8204. That's for Jeff Quest, graphic design.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monty and Faro, seen here every Thursday, produced out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. But this is a special Saturday show with the great Mike Knox, who I'm starting not to be so scared at because he seems like a nice guy.
I'm scared. He's big.
I mean, he takes on every woman in the world, but then he decides to
cover up Kelly
and be nice to her. I mean, come on. You needed that on your mark of,
I wasn't trying to get fired, baby. They said
don't touch Kelly.
Don't touch Kelly. She's off limits.
But go ahead. But
rough,
go. Don't touch Kelly, but screw Melina.
Hey, man.
What?
That's okay.
I was in love with Melina.
Oh, you are?
I was in love with Melina.
Really?
It was way back in the day.
I can't blame you.
Oh, brother. It was
Come
way,
on.
way back, man. It was before we got signed. We were both just struggling, trying to come up, man.
Dude,
we were
blind men
UPW.
would chase her down the
we
block.
We were at UPW. She was innocent back then. I was too. Like, we just kind of hit it off, and it worked out.
There you go.
But, as the wrestling business always says, there's a swerve coming. You know what I mean? Like, she went and did her thing. Broke my heart, my poor little heart. Broke my heart, but still friends, still cool, still talk. Bro,
what thing did she do?
she broke my heart, baby.
Are we talking about Batista? Or?
No.
Okay.
That was all the way back when Morrison and her started going.
I knew this was going to
Way
get back
back
to the
then.
guy from the Doors, the guy that sang for the
Yeah,
Doors.
way back
I'm surprised Ziggler's not in that mix
wasn't
too, because that
John
guy had
Morrison?
everybody too,
Oh,
right?
bro, I ain't nobody's.
So you're with her, and your brother John Morrison goes and backstabs.
Oh
her.
no, it was, bro. It was only a matter of time. You seen him?
Yeah.
Have you seen him?
Yeah, he looks
Come
like
on,
Jim
man.
Morrison.
Dude,
on
I've
steroids!
already established
He's
that
good to go.
you had the goods. You should have been able.
But John Morrison.
She went up to OVW. I was still back in Phoenix trying to get signed.
Oops.
Right.
There wasn't
Distance.
no guarantee I was ever going to get signed.
Right.
I was on the list, but
But then again,
that was really drawn thin.
this brings us back because Melina's hooked up in storyline with Johnny Nitro, whatever they were calling him back then.
Right.
And he takes advantage, but you're in a storyline with Kelly and you're like, nah, I don't want to be nice.
No, they were together long before I think that the storyline came
Oh,
out.
okay.
And like I said, man, it's a good thing. They were better for each other than me and her would have ever been.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? Like, things happen for a reason, bro.
There you go.
I
You know what
gotcha.
I mean? Things
Yeah.
happen for a reason.
I got
Sure,
you.
sure.
I
It
got you.
happened at the right time for the right reasons. At that time, I needed that.
There you go.
That little kick in the balls. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Like, okay,
Right.
well, I got a little fired up now, and
Right.
I'm going to work out a little harder, and I'm going to try a little harder, and I'm going to do
Right.
this a little bit more, and then, like, all that good stuff. And she went and did her thing, and it's like, people, everybody needs love, babe.
Oh, for sure.
But things happen at the right time. They happen when they're supposed to.
While we have Nuxie here, I gotta ask you, since you did work with him in depth, and it was before he was a superstar, what was CM Punk like behind the scenes?
Bro, it is what it is. You see, what you see is what you get, man. He's straight up.
Good guy?
He's a good dude. Like I said, how you see me now, it's kind of how I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of hard to not get along with. I take a little bit of pride in that. So I don't have a lot of bad things to say about anybody. Like
Mm-hmm.
I said, I don't care if you took my girl and did my this and whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're all just trying to get by here, bro. You know what I mean? No hard feelings.
What do you think about the
It's-
path that Punk has taken over his career? Were you
Good for him.
surprised that he made it so big?
I was.
You were.
I was,
Interesting.
bro.
Why?
Did he seem so combative
Well,
behind the
before-
scenes with Vince?
before-
Did you see any of it coming?
Could have been that he was 150 pounds.
Would you
Maybe
stop
that's
it?
what,
I just didn't. I
was
just
picking
didn't-
on him.
He was at OVW and I was at Deep South.
Okay.
And we had this little rivalry thing going. You know what I mean? And he was kind of the dog there, and I was kind of the dog down there. Like, it didn't turn out that way, but
Right.
in my head, at least, that's what it was. And we'd watch their shows and we'd watch their stuff, and I'd kind of watch some of his other old ROH stuff, and I was just kind of like, man, fuck, I don't get it.
You don't get it.
What the hell, man? How's he so
You're
over?
with him.
Like, how's he so over? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
I
didn't
really
get
I
it
love
either.
him, but that's
I
me.
just didn't get it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I'd never worked with him before.
Mhm.
I hadn't really met him. You know what I mean? Until we went backstage. And, of course, our first match was I think it was in Tucson. And the only reason, I usually don't remember these kind of things. But we'd never worked before. I was coming off of something, I think with like Balls Mahoney or something like that. So I missed my flight. or missed a connection, so I'd been drinking all day. I didn't think I was making it to the show. So I'm drinking in the airplane, drinking at the airport, drinking here. They give me a car. I'm drinking in the car. And all of a sudden I show up and I'll pull up and they're like, hey, man, you're up. I was like, oh, shit, baby. All wine drunk, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Pulling my tights on. I was like, who do I got? And they're like, you got Punk. And I was like, where is he? And he's like, his music's already going. And I was like, all right, where's the ref? I was like, tell him I'm going to work the leg. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm freaking half in the bag. You know what I mean? And I get out there and we pull each other through a passable, first encounter match. There was just a couple little hiccups, but we kept it real quick. And then I'll tell you what, bro, after I worked him a few times, I was like, oh, this is what it is.
Gotcha.
Okay, I can feel that. Like, the people feel him, you know what I mean? Like, just because.
Punk have any issues with you being slightly lit the first match? Because you know how he's straight edge.
No, brother, he don't push it on you.
Okay.
I had some of the funnest times I ever had with Punk.
Straight.
He'll sit there. He'd buy me drinks all night, laugh, and have the freaking greatest time ever. He'd never touch it. He'd drink his water and laugh and have a good time, man.
Strange question, and forgive me if it comes out wrong, but I'm curious. You work so hard to make it in this business. You sacrificed so much. I feel that sometimes some bookers kind of screwed with you. You didn't get to where you wanted to get. Is there any resentment when you see someone like Punk get to such a level of fame and then walk away from it, giving the business that you love so much the middle finger? Mm-hmm. Any of that irk you? Like, come on, man. Dude, get back here and make the money that some of us wish we could be making. What is it with you?
Here's the thing, man. Whenever I was there, it was kind of a weird little pay scale. Like, they knew the people who wanted it, you know what I mean? And they paid them the least. Because they knew they ain't going nowhere.
You know what I mean?
Pretty smart.
Yeah, because they knew, like, shit, I've been working since '98 trying to get here. I ain't quitting.
Yeah, he knows you're working for $25. You're happy to be on the show.
You know what I mean? I'm going to do...
So they sense the desperation of some of these people and just...
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting.
They sit them there and they put them at the lower of the card and they kind of drop, they drop them out a little bit and they feed them a bone every once in a while. And then if you get over, you get your title, which is all bullshit. It's just whoever somebody whoever backstage likes, whoever they think is going to make their company money is who they're going to push out. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to sell, board games, are you going to sell more Monopoly or are you going to sell more, I don't know, Gulliver's Pursuit or whatever the hell that is. You know what I mean? Some shitty little game. You're going to do something that people know. The people are getting behind. There's a little buzz. You know what I mean? So he started making money quick. But he was never a dick about it. You know what I mean? Like, some people, like, oh, richest guy in the company, like showing up in the Mercedes, like in the big cars and all that shit. Like, he never was like that.
Okay.
He was making his money. He bought a nice house. He was main eventing stuff. And we talk and I just see it. Because goddamn, bro, they rode him hard. They rode him hard, and he is 165, 75, whatever pounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He doesn't have that huge build. And he can bump, and he can feed, and he can take big stuff, and he kind of has to
sell
be
the
in
big
that
game.
character and
sell the big game,
to sell to the people out there that he's worthy of a belt or worthy of being the championship of the top guy. So he had to take a lot of abuse, and you don't get no time off, bro. And you get hurt, and you get bandaged up a little bit, and it's like, they give you the option if you want to, like, okay, well, you're hurt. You want us to take you off the show? Do you want us to get you out of here? Do we need to do something else? So they do say that, but they ain't really saying that.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're like,
right.
Well, we could take you off the show.
And you may never be back.
You know what I mean? And, like, you know how it is.
And
you're out of sight, especially guys like us.
Mm-hmm.
You're out of sight. You're out of mind, bro.
Right.
And then it's like you worked for 10 years to get here, and now all of a sudden, in a span of 2 weeks, everybody's forgotten you. And you got to start over again. You know what I mean? So he was sitting there, and they're just riding him. He's getting these little injuries, and he got that stomach bug, and he shit his pants that time. And it was like, and it was funny, and we all kind of laughed about it, but it wasn't really that funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was sick as a dog, and he was still out there working. And you know what? Enough was enough. Thank God. You know what I mean? Like, who knows, man? What would happen if he'd have stayed in for 2 more years, grinding and hating it? And who the fuck knows what would have happened?
It's true.
Is he the next one that freaking you find on pills all OD'd out? Or, you know what I mean? Who the hell knows? I mean, I don't think so because it's CM Punk. But, you never know. Maybe he freaking loses it. And he's one of those stories like the Perry Saturns where they just disappear and you never, like, You see him years later, and you're like, oh my shit, what
Yeah.
happened to you? You know
Wow.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
You don't want
and
that.
I can't be mad at him, bro, because I was in the same boat, but I just wasn't making no money.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? I left for 2 or 3 years, and I never did a damn thing. I never did nothing like he did.
Right.
He went out and he made more money,
Right.
and he took a chance. And he tried to
tried
to
the
go
fighting.
legit for a minute. You know what I
Right.
mean? How are you going to turn down if they're going to offer you, $1.5 million for 3 fights, and you ain't never fought before?
No,
Like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, but you know what?
Hell yeah, I'm gonna fight.
I know that's money, and I get it. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't turn down $1 million either. But at some point, don't you think that kind of tarnishes his legacy a little bit? Not really.
Legacy, bro. It's wrestling, baby.
Well, there's still legacies in wrestling, right? I
sure
mean,
there are. Sure there are.
Here's the deal, man. If he gets the itch and he decides to come back, what will it take him? 3 months to get in shape to come back and get in the ring?
Right.
Yeah.
If he comes back and he goes into AEW, or if he shows up and he buries the hatchet with WWE, which I don't see happening. He's really, he was miserable when he was making $3.5 million there.
Right.
And I'm just like, God damn, brother, what the hell you got
What's
to
it-
be miserable about?
What's
Like,
it take? Right.
I'm making $1,700. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty happy. What the hell's wrong with you?
That's straight. Yeah, you're right.
So it's like, but yeah, I don't feel bad. I don't think he owes anybody nothing, man. But
Fair
if he
enough.
decides that he wants to come back, people will forget about all those losses at UFC
I agree.
within just as fast. You know what I mean? 3 weeks, 4 weeks. If he goes in there and he starts whooping ass a little bit and
I've already
gets
forgotten.
back over, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They'll forget all about that.
I've already forgotten about it. I'm
Yeah.
a huge Punk fan. I can't
Oh.
wait for him to come back. I want him to come back.
Brother,
so.
at least he had the fucking balls
Absolutely.
to get out there and
that's,
fight.
That's
You
how
look
I
at-
see it.
Okay, no offense to anybody out there now. Okay, no offense. But some of these motherfucking nerds ain't never been in a fight in their whole life. For
Good point.
real.
There you go.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
There
The
you go.
writers, they ain't never been in a fight in their whole life, and they're trying to tell you what you would do in a fight.
Right.
Well, we said it before, right? Wrestling,
No doubt. I
wrestling
agree.
has tons of tough guys that you wouldn't fuck around with, but it's not a tough man sport. It's an entertaining
It's an
sport. I get it.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Well, why don't we get there? We got to get there anyway. You've all these years now. You got your pay-per-view debut at the Survivor Series. Team rated RKO. Here it is. Here's Knoxy. This is it.
break.
This is the
Finally.
big giant break. Yes. And then the walking hemorrhoid decides to super kick you, turn around, and go to Triple H. Who was that? Shawn Michaels out of nowhere. So I got to ask you, after seeing your debut at the pay-per-view of the Survivor Series with the kick from Michaels, was this a shoot? Did Michaels just do this to you out of nowhere? Could you fill us in, please?
Well, I was so excited, first of all,
Of course.
because I get to wrestle one of my heroes, Shawn Michaels. Sweet. I mean, Triple H is okay, but he wasn't my guy. You know what I mean? Like when I was growing up, when I was training, I wanted to bump like Shawn Michaels. When I wanted to
course.
punch, you know what I mean? I wanted to sell like him
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So I'm finally in there. I was like, oh baby, I'm gonna go tonight. You know, so
With the
get up
Heartbreak
here
Kid.
comes goddamn fucking Bad Street Atlanta. She comes into the fucking, the locker room dancing. Hey man,
He's got the hands.
Oh, you got it.
hey man, you're gonna lose first. And I was like, well, fuck.
I'm as
All right.
free as a bird now.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, shit. All right, here we go.
Hey.
So I'll have 5-6 minutes. They'll probably let me in there with Sean. I'll get to tear the house down and show the people, that haven't seen me, that don't really watch ECW, they don't really know, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to get to see a real motherfucker, So they're like, all right, well, you're going to be we can give you about 3 minutes. And I'm like, shit, all right, I can do some really cool stuff in 3 minutes. He said, well, you could do that and be forgotten forever. You could have a moment.
Have a
Would you
moment.
like to have a moment written in it? Like, then I was like, fuck, purely sexy. Hell yeah, I do.
Give
I
me
want to
a
have
moment.
a moment. And he's like, okay. We're going to mess around with him. You're going to super kick you right off the bat and spin you right away. And I was just like, oh, fuck, I don't want that moment.
Yeah, that's a
You know,
shitty
that's
moment.
a shitty moment,
Yeah.
bro. That moment could stunt the growth of the whole rest of my career.
Absolutely.
Which it did. You know what I mean? So,
And that thought flashed
Yeah.
through your mind when they told you this.
oh yeah.
So let me ask you.
But you fight so long to get up there and you get your big break, you don't want to be the squeaky wheel.
Yeah.
And they're kind of, I don't know, man. I always thought like they were doing me a favor.
But
by letting me
it
on
goes.
there.
But it goes beyond that,
I
right? So
gotcha.
was it scripted for Sean to turn to his teammates and go, "Who was that?"
Oh no, he had no fucking clue who I was. I am 100%, because later on I freaking called his ass out on it. It was a few years later. I'd been around for a while. I was pretty big. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I was up around maybe like 310.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was still pretty solid, and I could move. You know what I mean? I still had a little bit of wind on me, and we were doing this tour, and it was over in Japan or something. And it was me and Kane against Shawn Michaels and I think it was Ray. I want to say it was Ray because I was doing some stuff with Ray at that point. You know, and Shawn fucking walks into the thing, and he's like, he sees like some name on there that he doesn't really know, and he's like, "Oh, you better lace him up tight tonight."
And this is Stay Still for Jesus, Sean, right? This
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
this isn't
Yeah.
hitting drugs all day
This
long.
is the holy
He's like-
roller.
He's like, "You better
Yeah.
lace him up tight," and I was like, "Nah, motherfucker,
Uh-oh.
you better fucking lace him up tight. You forgot my name 5 fucking years ago, and you still don't know it."
Nice.
You know what I mean? I was like, "You're gonna remember it after tonight, brother. We're going hard."
Nice.
You know what I mean?
How
He's just
quickly
like,
did he
"Whoa,
start-
brother,
There
hey,
we go.
Jesus," you know, like whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so we go out there, you know, and of course, businessman. You know what I mean? I go out there and I run around with him a little bit, super light, show him I can work, do the thing, take the comeback, take the finish, super kick, 619, super kick, you know, all that shit.
Yeah.
Not even one receipt?
Nope.
Man, you're a nice guy.
Brother,
You
I
are
don't,
a nice
rec-
guy.
I don't give people receipts for hurt fucking feelings. If you're in your dangers with me, I'm fine. I'll go with you. I don't give a shit. I've been knocked out before. I'll be knocked out again. But
Who was the most dangerous with you in the ring?
God dang, man. That's tough, bro. Because there's some guys in Japan.
Anybody you dreaded getting in the ring with? That'll probably get you there quicker.
Did you work with Vader at all?
Oh.
Never got the
did.
opportunity.
I never did. I was worried when I was supposed to work with Test.
Test.
Yep. Because he had a reputation of
Okay.
roughing people up, like, because I wasn't with the company yet. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I was still trying to.
How about after you worked with him? Was his reputation fair? He was fine.
He was stiff. You know what I mean? Oh, you know, hardcore Holly's stiff as a board. You know what I mean? At that time, whenever I was doing stuff with him, he kind of had something he was trying to prove, I think, to the locker room.
Finley?
Tough
Fit
guy
Finley?
thing. Fuck guy. Holy shit, man.
Fit
You want to talk
Finley.
about a tough motherfucker. But
Nice.
it's just, you want to talk about a professional wrestler.
Fit Finley.
He could whoop your ass, and he gets in there, and in an instant, he can put you in this thing that you have no idea how you got there. You're all tied up. You have no idea how to get out of it. And then it's just loose. You know what I mean? And it's all of a sudden, he's guiding you out of it. You know, it's, oh my God, and tough. You know what I mean? Like, he'd be calling power slams on the floor when people were scared to do that. Like, I would hit him with the big bear. Boom! You know what I mean? All the time. He hit me probably 50 times with that fucking shillelagh. Never felt one.
The
Never
shillelagh.
felt one of them.
Nice.
Never felt one of them.
Was there ever one wrestler that you were booked to wrestle against that you actually had to call home and be like, "Mom, oh my God, I'm getting this opportunity to work with so and so"?
When I was at TNA doing the Aces and Eights gimmick, when I was working with Hogan and Sting, I had to mark that a little bit.
Absolutely.
I had
How
to,
could
bro.
you not?
Nothing wrong with
when I
that.
was in the third grade, there wasn't 1 inch of wall on my room that didn't have Hulk Hogan's picture on it or Sting's picture on it,
There you go.
and I got to beat them both up in one
See,
TV.
that's
tape.
funny. We were talking about that last week. So you know, Sting is in AEW.
Yeah.
Like total Hulk Hogan mark. In my opinion, greatest wrestler of all time.
We're Hulk Hogan guys. Yep.
Sting to me was Sting. It was like I never like we're Northeast guys, so I understand people loving Sting. I get it, but for me, Sting was just WCW Sting.
Bro, like I said, whenever I was watching him, I think he was still with like the NWA back then.
Yeah.
When he had the hair or whatever.
The
And I was
surfer.
just a kid, you know what I mean? So you can't really hold it against me. And I was also an Ultimate Warrior fan.
That's
Right.
true. Good
You
point.
know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so it's not about if they're good wrestlers or whatever. Like, sometimes people just grab you. And I like the
Yeah.
face paint, and I like the
He did it for you.
or the big
That's all.
splash, you know what I mean? I'd come off my roof, like, you know, whatever. Like, I was just a little
There you
shit
go.
mark, you know what I mean?
So,
Like,
wait, so you're talking about Ultimate Warrior. We
Yeah.
have Barry Horowitz in studio. He, not a big fan of Ultimate Warrior.
I heard there ain't a whole lot of big fans of him.
Right.
What drew you to Ultimate Warrior? Just size,
just
makeup?
intensity and the muscles and the straight. Like, I was a kid, so I didn't know, and I
It
just
factor.
started watching wrestling.
Yeah.
It was just something weird,
How-
you know, something weird that I'd never seen before. I'm like, holy shit.
Since we're talking his fans for a second, how did you feel when he went up against Hogan? I'm a Hogan guy first. I immediately jumped off Warrior's train.
I did too.
Good.
Yeah,
Good,
I did too.
good.
I'm
He's a Hogan head.
I
There
was
we
a Hogan
go.
guy. I always was.
There you go. Were you mad when Hogan lost to Warrior? Because I'm the only guy standing in the room going, the real winner is Hulk Hogan, and he's going to have more impact in this bit. Everybody's looking at me like I'm sour. I was sour. I was pissed that Hogan lost.
I've always been a Hogan guy, man.
Interesting.
And you know what? The funny thing that come around full circle, you know, with all those posters and all the saying the prayers and going to soccer practice in my Hulkamania shirt and all that crap. You know what I mean? Like, and when it was all said and done, brother, he couldn't have been nicer to me.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's bought me dinner, bought me beers.
Awesome.
Like, was nice. Like, I had friends. He took me into his restaurant and took care of everything. Like, bring me to the beach shop with some kids and, like, give them free shit. Like, sign it and take pictures. Like, he's just a little hippie, bro. You know, he just wants to have a beer and maybe smoke a little joint with you and tell you how cool he used to be, bro.
Nice.
He's just
Nice.
He's just a man, dude.
A lot of Hogan
He's just-
spliffing.
He's just the
I
man.
love it. I want to ask you, since you obviously worked in TNA and you worked in WWE, what's the difference between the two organizations?
It was night and day. I'd have never came back. I was so miserable at WWE. I fucking hated it.
So you prefer TNA? Working there?
I got there the first day and I was in my little biz cash bull crap. You know what I mean? And Al kind of walks up. And he's like, "We don't do that here." He's like, "This ain't the same." He's like, "You'll learn." He's like, "This ain't the same as it was over there." There was a lot more stuff. I went to do my first match, and it was like nobody was up my ass telling me what to do. Nobody was calling my match. I kind of got to do like whatever I wanted to do. I was like, shit, I don't even remember how to do this. And yeah, me even just getting into TNA, you want to talk about pure luck. Remember I told you I was on that 2 or 3 year drunk sabbatical.
Sure.
Luke Gallows calls me up out of the blue, and he's like, "Brother," he's like, "I got this show in Guyana. It's tropical paradise of Guyana." And he's like, "I sold it." He's like, "I can pay you good. Do you want to come down and work it?" I was like, "Bro, I ain't worked a match in 3 years." He's like, "You'll be working me. It'll be easy." You know what I mean? He's like, "We'll just go down there." He's like, "It's right on the beach, bro. It's so cool. Like, whatever." I was like, "I'm not like I used to be, bro. So we got to keep it calm. We just maybe have some beer, like whatever." He's like, "Of course. You're right. So we sit there and I'm like flying in. I'm like, "I'm going to Johnstown, going to Guyana."
I'm going to Jonestown.
Yeah, I'm going to Jonestown.
How exciting.
I was like, "Baby, it's a tropical paradise."
Don't go there thirsty.
Bro, I think it's a
Anyway.
tropical paradise, old Jonestown. All of a sudden we're flying in and it's like the #1 like AIDS capital of the world. Like, I'm just like, oh god. I go to
They still haven't cleaned up
go
from
to my-
78. Yeah, go on.
I go to my beautiful suite, and I get
horrible.
I get this chicken salad. I set it down on the table, and I go to get the fork, and I turn around. There's like 10 cockroaches on it. I'm like, "Oh, Guyana!"
Oh, this is going to be an easy gig.
Such an easy gig, you know. So I go downstairs to the pool, and like Goldberg's down there, like
Goldberg.
stretching it out, like Butterbean, like all sweaty, you know. what I mean? Like,
Butterbean.
It's awesome.
it was like the most.
What, fighting the cockroaches for a poolside
Brother,
seat?
It was like the most mixed, mashed up bullshit show.
What a shithole.
So all these stars are on this show, right? And it's Luke Gallows' thing. So like the Prime Minister comes in to do this little thing, and Luke's like, "Just go with me, bro." And he was like, he starts talking to the Prime Minister, and he's like, "You know, every one of these is a great man, and we're coming down here to put a great show on for you, except for you, Mike." He's like, "Are you talking about my wife and kids on the damn airplane?" And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Well, if your wife wasn't such a whore." And like, oh, like, just freaking go at it right in front of everybody, right? Hold on, I need this water. I get all excited. So we make ourselves the main event, of course, after Goldberg.
Okay, after Goldberg.
Big time money there.
There you go.
And like we're sitting at this outdoor stadium.
Who's next?
And we're sitting there, and he's like, "We're trying to get this chicken for Raven, right? Like this fried chicken, like this little chicken stand, and they won't give us no more." I'm like, "What do you mean you're not going to give us any more free chicken?" So like me and Drew's like, "Dude, this can't stand. The boys need to eat. You know what I mean? We got to teach this guy a lesson." He's like, "All right, well, during the match, we'll just fight over to his chicken stand, and we'll see what we cause he'll have it." You know?
You're going to grab food during the match. What are you, Morocco?
So we're sitting there, and we like, end up going all over the freaking place. You know what I mean? And I'm like, we get close to the chicken thing, and I was like, "Throw me over it, brother." So he goes and throws me over it. And I'm trying to pull it all the way down, not realizing there's hot grease and fried chicken. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to pull it over, and it's like, it comes over. Here comes Big Drew, clumsy ass, big feet, like stiffing the crap out of your face. And I hit him with something, and he's hanging right over. He's like, hold me over the fryer. So I'm holding him over the fryer, and he's like, this is. Ah! So he's like bleeding all over the guy's fucking chicken.
Bleeding on the chicken.
Yeah. It would teach you not to give us free chicken for Raven. Yeah, he ain't gonna do it. He may have ruined that guy's whole life that night. That might have been all he had.
That did.
We destroyed that guy.
You destroyed that guy. The chicken.
Because he wouldn't feed you.
Hey, lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
When Americans come to town, you give them some goddamn chicken when they ask for it.
Now he only works his concession, and it's at the baseball games over there. And do they play baseball over there?
Oh, bro. So that was my one match that I had.
How does this get you to TNA?
Drew calls me freaking 2 weeks later. He's like, hey, bro, I got to try out at TNA. I was like, sweet, brother. He's like, I can't make it. I told him you'd go.
There you go.
And I was like, huh? I was like, doing a bullshit hardcore match in Guyana is one thing, but being ready for TV, that's another animal. You know what I mean? Like, your shit's got to be tight. I hadn't practiced at all. I hadn't worked at all, except for that one match. Mm-hmm. And then I came in, and they gave me two dark matches. One was against Frankie Kazarian, whom I'd known all the way back from UPW in California when I was like 19.
That's a great opponent to refamiliarize. Yeah.
And then my next one was, or I think the first one, Frankie was the second night. The first one was Devon.
Okay.
So first thing we get out there, and I didn't really know Devon all that well. You know what I mean? He's going to hit me with the big spine buster gimmick at the end, like the Ron Simmons, like take your soul spine buster. So we do this thing, and we start rolling. And I hadn't been on TV in a while, so I'm all jacked up, you know. Roll around. Here comes that first spot. I got to cut him off with I'll just cut you off with the clothesline, baby. I don't think you'd ever seen me throw a clothesline before. So, you know, he comes feeding right up, chin up, and I fucking demolish him. Boom! And I'm laying over him, and I just hear him go, holy shit! God damn it, what are you doing? I'm like, we're on fucking TV, baby! He's like, this is dark.
This is dark. Dark match!
I'm trying to get a job!
Oh my god!
Oh shit! Yeah, man. So Al takes me up after the match. You know, and pretty good reaction. Like, it was funny. You know, and he's like, "Hey, we've got this little biker gimmick coming up. We got a couple ideas. I think we're gonna try to get Luke Gallows into it. We're gonna try to, you know." He's like, "If you would be interested, we might try to do something with you. And you know, we got a couple other guys that we're gonna do it with. It's gonna be pretty big. You know, you're on the list."
You're on the list.
So once again, I'm on the list.
Right. Except this time, you become one of the original members of Aces and Eights, right?
So I'm like, well, shit, I better start practicing.
I better
get back in shape, like where I can go more than 1 minute without blowing up.
There you go.
So I sit there and I go to this bar, of course, and I was like, well, all right, I'll watch a little wrestling, see how they do it nowadays. And I'm watching this thing, and here comes Wes Briscoe, comes up, all drunk and shit, you know, happy, laughing. He's like, hey, bro, like, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I heard you're doing that thing at TNA, that biker thing. And I was like, maybe, bro. He's like, I am too! Let's have some drinks. So, like, we drink a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, a couple weeks later, like, I run into Garrett. He's like,
Garrett Bischoff,
hey, brother.
right?
Like, you doing that biker thing? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, me too. And I was just sitting there thinking, all of a sudden, I was like,
how many?
I'm on the fucking list.
Right.
Everybody was on the list too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
they told everybody they're going to be in this thing. That's what I was thinking.
Right.
And then they finally called up and they're like, "Hey, brother, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put you aside. We're going to keep you away from everybody. We don't want anybody to see you. Like, we'll bring you your food. We'll bring you anything you need. Stay away from all the other workers. Stay away from all the boys. Don't let them know it's you. You know what I mean? When it's your time, we're going to take you on the back, do your shit." Go back in your private locker room, get changed. We'll get you out of there without anybody seeing you. So they were really trying to kayfabe it for a while, because you know, I mean, they wanted to keep it off the thing, you know.
Cool.
So like we're kicking ass, and then we start doing matches, and like Al's like, "Don't do any wrestling moves." He's like, "Don't do anything, just punch and kick and throw."
Right.
You know, he's like, "Don't let anybody have a hint of who you are.
Recognize something you've done.
Like, you recognize something that I have done in the past, like whatever." So they did that stuff real good. I wore that damn mask for over a year.
Right.
You know, and then I just wanted to get off on one little last story, and then I'll quit.
No, you're fine.
No, all good, bro. Go.
So my whole career, you know what I mean? Like I said, I didn't want any of that shit. I just kind of wanted to have fun and party and, you know what I mean, be that guy. And I kind of still was at TNA, so I never saved nothing. You know what I mean? Everything I ever sold, everything I ever kept, I sold.
Right.
I'm not like that shit usually. You know what I mean? Because I was young too, and I just figured I'd just make more.
Yeah,
Right.
More memories. You know. So I'm finally like after I've worn this mask that's like choked me and I bled in it and like stunk like all this crap. Like I made that shit. You know what I mean? Like we freaking sewed it. And I'm like, I'm keeping that mask. I'll keep that. I'm going to put it in my little frame. I'm going to keep the vest. Put that in there. This is like I get to wrestle with all my best friends. Like Drew's one of my best friends, Gallows, for ever since I first met him. He's going to be in my wedding. You know what I mean? Like I just love the man. And if you've ever met him, you probably love him too. You know what I mean? He's just the best.
That's great.
So, God damn it! I forgot where I was at again. Thanks a lot, Gallows, you stupid idiot. Oh, so anyways, it's my night. I'm getting unmasked.
Right.
Sitting there, boom, 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 boom. Kurt Angle unmasked me, freaking throws me this big back suplex. I'm like, yeah, all right, here it comes, man. Everybody's about to see. Here comes Samoa Joe. Hits me with something. Here comes big thing, whatever. And they yank the mask off him without even a second's hesitation. Throws that bitch 20 rows deep into the crowd, and I never saw it again.
Oh my
So
God!
some Jewish accountant ran off with it in row 20.
There's a nice little souvenir for some fan.
Joe Rossello's selling it
bro.
at his next
so
auction.
That was Joe. Joe took it.
Joe's got it. I was sitting there. I was like, well, I'm definitely keeping that vest.
Man, oh man.
Come on, are you serious?
I was like, I'm definitely keeping that vest. And then it comes down to the end where like Anderson pile drives me on the thing or whatever, and they take my vest off. And then the next week I hear I'm not at TV or whatever, and I hear they're doing this thing where they're burying them. They're doing like a burial, so they throw them all in this casket and they bury them, right? Well, really they're just selling them on eBay. So they took our freaking vests and they sold them all to the highest bidder.
Oh my God!
Which if I'd have known, I'd have bought my own damn vest.
Yeah. Right.
I think the kid only paid like $200 for it or something. Like, why would TNA? Were they so hard up for freaking money?
Well, I was going to ask you, what was pay like at TNA?
Awful.
Like, what was working?
Hundreds? Let them have it.
So you said you're at $1,700 in the WWE. Now you're at TNA.
Per week. Yeah, like I was on a weekly, like 17 or 14. I can't remember what it was. Whatever it was, there was a lot for me. You know, I never had a lot of money coming up. But man, you want to talk about thin living?
Yeah.
TNA was real hard, man. I was there at the wrong time.
Like a tenth compared to what Vince was giving you?
Shit, bro.
Was it even worse than a tenth?
I came in, I was under the mask, so I was on a nightly, whatever, do paying you
by
whatever.
appearance.
You know what I mean? And it was like, the first time I came in to do it, I didn't know if I was even in the group. You know what I mean? They were still shuffling around a lot of guys, so it's like, oh, well, we'll pay you $200 like for the show. And I was like, shit, man. Well, whatever, man. I drove in. It's only an hour.
And these are
I don't have to stay.
These are TV appearances.
Yeah, I was like, I don't have to stay. I'll have to take $200 the first couple times probably, and then I'll get my contract and get caught up.
Did you ever get a contract?
Bro, I didn't get a contract until right at the very end.
At the end.
At the very end of the Aces and Eights thing, like 2 weeks before, they finally put me under contract. I'd been fighting for all those years that Aces and Eights was going on. It was a whole backstage battle.
It was about 2 years worth, right?
Trying to get taken care of. You know what I mean? And at that time, it was like I was calling like Demore, and I was like, "Bro, get me the fuck out of here." I was like, "I don't want to stay here." I was like, "They're not paying me."
Did you try asking Bubba? Hey, Bubba, bro.
Bubba's Bubba, bro. He's
so everyone's really on their own.
You should have hooked up with Dixie Carter. You'd have been all right.
Bubba, bro.
Yeah, wait a minute. Why didn't you?
Shit, I had the green light from the old lady. If she thought it would have helped. She's like, honey, you think it'll help you out and get you some money? Yeah, maybe. Well, go for it. Yeah, she's just not into big, huge, stinky, drunk men, I guess.
What?
only Kevin Nash. All right, we're gonna take a quick commercial break, and then we're gonna bring Agent Joe Rossello in,
Joe.
And then Pharaoh Mike is gonna ask you the final question from the Pharaoh. We'll be right back with pro wrestling superstar, incredible interview, Mr. Mike Knox. In the mood for a freshly roasted cup of coffee? www.offtherailscoffeeroasters.com. You want to star in your own success? Call QuickCast www.quickcast.com. 866-7-CAST-NOW. That's 866-7-CAST-NOW. Quickcast.
Start your own success.
Jimmy, I just got the best hookup on tickets.
Fill me in.
I went to www.seatslinks.com and ordered the best tickets with the best prices.
Call 718-676-0504. SeatsLink, the complete ticket experience.
Tell them Charles sent you. All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monty Nefaro, seen every Thursday, produced out of Indie Music TV in Ronkonkoma, New York. Obviously, this is a Saturday, and obviously we've had one of the most incredible interviews with pro wrestling superstar Mike Knox. Next to Mike right now is old friend and super agent with his growing company, J&R Collectibles, Joe Rossello. Joe, thanks for stepping in for a few minutes.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, so you want to tell everybody what's going on with J&R Collectibles today and in the future?
Today we are doing a signing in Comac, Pro Wrestling Universe Comac. It's brand new. It's going to be a huge signing with a bunch of wrestling superstars, including Mike Knox. And then tonight will be the last signing hurrah, Christmas party, virtual bash. We're getting drunk. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna sell autographs.
Yes!
So there's no holds barred in my virtuals. I'm not professional. I have a nice room though. They let me use a conference room in the hotel,
Okay.
so that would be nice. But otherwise, we don't give a shit.
So, Mike,
Bro, they gave you a nice room at the hotel. I'm in a broom closet.
Don't make me look bad here. He's got a nice room actually.
so what kind of items will you be selling on the virtual
a lot of
auction?
Autographs. I might dig up a few things.
Will you be
I
selling
gotta
that
eat.
mask,
The mask.
that you got
The mask
thrown
that
into the
That
crowd?
mask I caught. Yeah, definitely.
And you got any prices? Like anything going on? What could people
20,
expect?
20 combos. 20 for the photos, and that's really it right now. So we'll see.
All right, so Mike, the Frau's going to hit you with his final question. I'm hoping, and I'm using telepathy, that he uses what I would hope he would use. But again, he's the star of the show. He makes that
Okay,
decision.
let me see if I can run off on a tangent for another 45 minutes.
Go ahead.
That's not
45-minute tangents are good.
That's not fair. What do you go? Wait, hold on a second. Go on. Say some of your signals. I'm not going to get it right anyway.
I'm going to do my inner Angelo. Go.
Now, that's not going to work because that's a fraud. All right, here we go. Might as well. I'm going to go with the one that you like to ask a lot, so I'm going to give this a shot. Mr. Knox, you've obviously been a wrestling fan since second grade.
It worked, by the way. It worked. I know.
You've
questions.
obviously been a
Unbelievable.
fan since second grade, and the next day you went out there and just like I did in seventh grade with the figure 4 leg lock when I was slapping it on people, you were showing your love for pro wrestling from an early age. To you, one of the original members and long-standing member of the great Aces and Eights, I ask you, who is your Mount Rushmore of pro wrestlers? You got to come up with 4 guys that you're going to forever put on the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling. Who is it to you?
And again, not Matt only, not Mike only. The greatest wrestler could be Draw. Mike Skills could be an average
So you
wrestler.
actually
at
have
best.
some historical responsibility too here. It can't just be your favorites. It's got to be who you think are the 4 greatest contributors to the art you love so much and grew up and getting into?
Well, this is all on what I think, correct? Well, I'm thinking that Hogan would definitely have to be on there. San Martino would definitely have to be on there.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah, very good.
I'm going to say that Fabulous Moolah should be on there.
Wow.
Moolah.
Great.
You know? And is that 3?
That is 3.
I'm gonna say Stone Cold, bro.
Fantastic.
I'd never heard a crowd hotter when he was at his hottest.
Sure.
I was as a fan. I was there.
Sure.
And I had never heard, even when The Rock was at his peak, even when all that shit was going on, when Stone
breaking.
Cold was at his peak, bro. At that time, if you remember, wrestling wasn't that awesome.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing a lot of comic book characters.
Correct.
They were doing a lot of, they were really searching for something, and they didn't know what
Sure.
they had, you know?
Wow.
So he took something that was supposed to kind of be something that wasn't supposed to work, and he changed it into the biggest damn thing. He's still running off of that thing, bro. You know what I mean? So, in my head, I think that might be.
How about Moolah, though? Talk to us a little bit about why you choose Moolah. You got 3 of our 4, by the way. Our 4th was John Cena, believe it or not.
But I love the
He's
Moolah
smart.
pick. Why Moolah?
Yeah, why Moolah?
Well, bro, she was the longest reigning champion, and as shady as she may have been, nobody did more for females professional wrestling. You know what I mean? Then, I mean, shit, you could say, you know, like when Trish came in, she got hot and she put girls on the map a little bit, and Lita and all that stuff, and like Wendy Richter, and like, you know what I mean? There's always been girls, but Moolah was, you know what I mean? Whether it be from shrewd negotiating, whether it be from just being plain old mean and knowing the business.
27 years as the women's champion.
Brother, she was out there taking hard bumps when she was well into her 70s and 80s.
Yep.
She was the WWF Women's Champion when she was in her 60s, I think.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
that's longevity, man. And I mean, San Martino. Anybody up in the Northeast, I didn't come across him until later on. You know what I mean? But whenever I did, it was pretty damn impressive, man.
Can't argue with that list,
Nope.
man.
No.
Cannot, man.
All right, with that, we want to thank Mike Knox. We want to thank Joe Rossello and J&R Collectibles. This has been an incredible interview. Thank you so much. What a gentleman. You're the man.
Thank you. Sorry about all the cussing.
That's all good. You can catch Monty Nefaro on the YouTube Monty Nefaro page, Facebook Live Monty Nefaro page, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Anchor, Channel 115 every Tuesday, 7 to 7:30, every Saturday, 6:30 to 7, and Channel 21, 2 a.m. to 2:30. We changed that
Faro time.
All right, any parting words, Faro?
Yeah, I'm going to go have a beer with Noxie there.
With that, you've been watching Mike Monty.
This is the Pharaoh. Stay tuned for Savio Vega. We shall return. But until then, later.